Good day, Bermuda, and thank you for joining us for this afternoon's press conference with the Minister of Home Affairs, the Honorable Robin, JPMP. I now welcome Minister Robin to begin his remarks. Minister?
Hello, good afternoon to everyone and the press and listening public. As many will know, I am currently overseas attending a number of environmental conferences, and I am right now in Miami at the 2022 CREF Caribbean Renewable Energy Forum conference organized by New Energy Events. And that is where I am right now. And I am so excited to announce that Bermuda, just a short while ago, received the 4th CREF Industry Awards for Best Small-Scale Utility Project in the Caribbean. And I have received this on behalf of the government of Bermuda and the people of Bermuda and Saturn Power. The award recognizes the excellence across clean energy programs in the Caribbean, judged across a series of criteria, including innovative approaches to development, value to investors and customers, and social and environmental impact. For Bermuda to receive this award is a testament to our island's commitment to reducing our carbon footprint and protecting the environment. It also recognizes the hard work and determination of many persons, many Bermudians, working alongside Saturn Power, and also our consultants, Castalia, who worked with us on the way. And all of these entities work to complete the island's first utility-scale solar farm. Following receipt of the award, I am now incredibly humbled to announce to everyone that among thousands across the Caribbean who go above and beyond this to safeguard our environment, the judging committee unanimously awarded myself the recipient of the Caribbean Energy Leadership MVP Award. I must say I was quite surprised when I got the announcement that I would be the recipient of this award, but I am so honored to have received it. I don't only receive it on behalf of myself, but I believe I receive it on behalf of the people of Bermuda. I am a passionate supporter about protecting our environment, and being recognized with this award is a part of a lifetime achievement and certainly a highlight of my career in this space. However, while this award does bear my name, I have to recognize others because I do nothing good alone. The people at the Ministry of Home Affairs, their effort and commitment have been instrumental in getting myself and Bermuda's energy ambitions to this point. It is a culmination of our many contributions that I am today recognized for the work that I have done. And I wish to offer my sincere thanks and gratitude to all of my colleagues in the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Department of Energy, and all those who have worked with us to get to this point and have assisted myself with achieving this award. As we move forward in cooperation with the Regulatory Authority of Bermuda and other partners in the energy space and in the regulated space, the government will continue to lay a solid groundwork for additional investment in Bermuda to facilitate the innovation and the technology, the renewable energy technology that is needed to move us forward and to promote Bermuda as a test bed for innovation around the world. In line with Bermuda's economic recovery plan, the energy regulatory sandbox that we are presenting legislation to set up very shortly will encourage new renewable energy technology developers to test their products in our island, giving Bermudians access to this technology and creating jobs and inward investment in this space. We are also working to partner with local and international companies to set up our Green Energy Fund to provide capital to develop solar installations in Bermuda that will help Bermuda to reach her renewable energy needs, and especially for those who can least afford it. That is the purpose of that fund. The purpose remains here to expand access to all residents who, particularly those who can least afford the upfront investment in renewables. We have new regulations coming, which will also address the fuel surcharge costs for electricity and better regulate the storage distribution of fuel for Bermuda. Ultimately, these initiatives will reduce the cost of electricity for all of Bermuda's residents and businesses. As we continue on this path of achieving a future that will be clean, safe, and affordable around energy, I forever remain committed to Bermuda, Bermuda's environment, and achieving the goals that Bermuda wishes to reach in the renewable energy sector. Thank you, and I'm happy to invite questions from the media.
Thank you very much, Minister. At this time, we will admit Jonathan Bell from the Royal Gazette to access questions.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, good afternoon, Jonathan. You are live and we can hear you.
Michael, thanks. Appreciate you. So I take it from that you can hear me okay, folks?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Minister Aubin, congrats. Lovely
Thank
to
you.
hear. I'm going to start just briefly. I'm doing this somewhat on the cuff, sir, so I've just joined this, but hearing the mention of Saturn Power with the CREF awards that you mentioned, I take it from that issues that we were hearing of to do with the airport solar finger, they're ironed out, everything is going ahead. What's the status of the finger at the moment?
What I can report is that the finger project has been operating since November. That operation is in the hands of a private management, Bermudian management local company. And so the finger is operational and carrying out the activity that it has been licensed to do, which is to provide power to the utility that will support the generation of energy in Bermuda.
Perfect. Simply following on that, it was something I've been hearing about, and it's simply a question. I'm not saying this is as if it is real. I take it from that there have been no technical hitches with the operation of the finger. We're A-OK there?
As far as I know, Mr. Bell, that utility scale operation is, since November of last year, has been in full operation.
Fantastic. That's good to hear. Moving on just quickly, I wanted to start with the Green Energy Fund that you touched on. So just anything I can hear more on that. This is to do with, I believe, improving the accessibility of, is it home utility for solar, or are we talking about something more of a bigger scale?
Well, the fund is meant to support investment in the energy sector, but particularly focus on investment that will specifically help those who can least afford the upfront cost to a PV system in particular, and many of the conservation and efficiency measures that will come with that, to have access. So it will be a fund which we intend to get support from the private sector to finance those initiatives, many of which will, subject to changes to the electricity sectoral legislation, be allowed to happen, which cannot happen right now. But it will allow greater access. It doesn't mean necessarily every home in Bermuda will have panels, but it will mean that there will be ways such as using potentially community solar models and other models that are available already and tried and tested, available to the Bermuda energy sector, and that will allow affordable access to renewable energy by many of our residents, particularly those who cannot afford the upfront cost of investment in a PV system.
Fantastic. We've spoken about it before, obviously. As I've observed going around Bermuda, it seems like the houses of well-off people are where I'm seeing the panels appearing. Just for the benefit of public listening to this, I've asked you before about And let me go back. Yeah, the community solar model. Do I have that right? Are you
Yes.
able to expand a bit on what that entails for people not familiar with the term?
Well, that'll mean essentially communities of homes having access to the benefits of renewable energy. Particularly, there are some that either are not positioned suitably to benefit from direct PV system, or affordability is the issue. And it will mean setting up PV systems almost like microgrids in potentially parts of the island that will, the investment in them specifically will be to ensure that persons who can't take the traditional amount still have the benefit of that energy. How that will be modeled is subject to regulatory review, and those are more technical things that are not really within my remit, but more in the remit of the regulator.
Got you. And just touching on that, obviously, you would know more about how solar energy works than I would. Folks speaking about the matter have impressed on me that, for example, the solar water heating is something some have said they'd like to see more done. It seems like it's a pretty cheap system. From what I've heard, that it's essentially dark colored pipes containing water that absorb the heat from the sun, and they save some water. Is that anything that's on the table in terms of looking at getting more of just simple solar water heating systems, or are we really looking at photovoltaic models?
No, the solar water heating is available to any local person who wishes to consider it. Most people have been looking for the PV systems, but solar water heating, as any much more efficient water heating system, is welcome. The reality is that in Bermuda, water heating actually takes up a substantial amount of the individual home's bill, up to sometimes 40 to 50%, depending on the efficiency of the system. So alternatives that will bring down that cost to any individual homeowner, we certainly welcome persons bringing those systems to the island, and subject to them being approved and that they are meet the standards of criteria when it comes to planning. We welcome people looking at those systems as alternatives to the traditional water heating systems that many houses have.
Got you. Following on that, there was you touched on planning. Some within the renewable energy sector in Bermuda have said that the planning regulations that we have in place can sometimes make it tricky for, again, some of those lower income homeowners, because the neighborhoods, the houses are smaller and quite more densely crowded, say. Is there any, the point I'm getting to, is there any conversation going on or look at the feasibility of perhaps relaxing some of the zoning regulations in terms of where I can put renewable energy on my home to improve the access for it?
I would contend that the system is pretty efficient and pretty low on any regulatory bureaucratic stumbling blocks, but there are changes that we are looking to make that will make it more efficient for installs to happen. It doesn't take that long for the process to approve an install to happen. It is not that expensive, but we understand that there are always changes that can be made to make things a little bit more efficient as we're promoting the use of these technologies. So right now, the planning department, along with my ministry, is looking at whatever tricks we can make to make any installs related to renewable energy more efficient. So we will constantly look at those issues. We listen to the persons who are in this space, and we desire to make things much more smoother, subject to not any reduction in like the quality of how we deal with our planning matters, because we have a high threshold of quality, which I think benefits everyone in safety and in structural integrity, and making sure things are done that are environmentally sustainable as well.
Yeah, got you. I think what had been raised with me was in terms of you've got to be X number of feet from a property boundary, X number of feet from the road.
Well, that's actually a matter that we're dealing with. I do accept that that's one of the minor issues that has to be addressed. And we're working with our planning people to actually change the regulations around that so that it will be much different going forward. So I accept that's one of the minor issues that we will be changing to actually make things easier.
Cool, thank you. Do we have a tentative date for when the Green Energy Fund might be up and running? Where are we at with that?
All I can say is that that fund is in the advanced planning stages. I will be doing some presentations with my cabinet colleagues on some of the specifics around it so that I can prepare the appropriate paper within this session to take to cabinet for approval. And then from there on, we will move forward with the policy, with the instructions to draft the appropriate legislation. That process will be moving full steam ahead this session. But a lot of preparation work had to go on with the planning and the modeling and the design of the actual fund. So these things you have to do properly. We want to make sure it's done right when we do it.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple more. I know what you mean by the energy, the regulatory sandbox that was up for discussion, I believe, down in Turks and Caicos, if I'm correct. What can you tell us about this? The sandbox term sometimes flummoxes people. It's just kind of just space to develop these new technologies. Are there any particular technologies that you can tell us about that we could be seeing, looking at Bermuda as a place to develop their business model?
Well, as you would know, we announced some months ago, Seabase, the marine technology company, as one of the first possible candidates for the sandbox, and we have an MOU with them. Their process will start once we pass the legislation to create the licensing structure. They will be able to make an application with the supporting environmental impact assessment that will review them as a candidate to be in the sandbox. It like creates a space, a regulated space that is much different from the orthodox licensed utility licenses, but it creates a space where innovation can be fully examined, considered, and decided on, just like it happens in other industries. The insurance industry has a similar concept of a sandbox where they test products in the market prior. They test products that they want to take to market to test their suitability. And if there are any tweaks, they then change it, and then it will get the full consideration for approval by the regulator. This is a similar concept for the energy space. And this is what we are doing right now. And we're preparing and designing, and we're going to pass legislation to set up that license class very shortly in this session.
In this session, thanks. Last one I had for you, sir, is to do with the, single-use plastics. Where are we at with that? I know sometimes it sounds like a great idea. Some retailers aren't happy with it. Are we looking at doing a tax on single-use plastics? Are we still committed to eliminating them? Really, any more detail on that, when it might be happening, and if there is any look at the alternative of saying, perhaps I pay X amount to have a plastic bag. Just curious about that one.
Well, it's not really the subject of this press conference, but I will give you a answer on that. Yes, we remain committed to the single-use plastic initiative. As you know, we've had an exhaustive public consultation. We're right now at the stage where we're reviewing the findings of the public consultation, and we'll be going back to the stakeholders to discuss those findings so that we can plan out the implementation process with them. This was always to be a phased program, Mr. Bell. So we're taking into full consideration all of the market realities around the introduction. But I must say, on this trip, it's been very revealing that the islands that I have visited, in particular TCI, I have had nothing but disposable, non-plastic use of items through almost every restaurant or takeout that I have been in TCI. They provided me with wooden spoons and sort of biodegradable containers to carry the food. And I must say, the prices that one would find in TCI are comparable to Bermuda. They are no more. than the prices that we pay in Bermuda for similar food products. So clearly, a path towards single-use plastics, if I use Turks and Caicos as an example, is feasible. They have themselves aggressively moved with the elimination of single-use plastics. There are single-use plastic options available in their grocery stores that are available, not only in TCI, but here in Miami. I've gone to a grocery store in particular, and I've seen them on the shelf, available at very reasonable prices. So I am committed to Bermuda taking this path. If we look around the region, others have taken the path and are moving forward with it. And there's no reason Bermuda, if we believe that we're supposed to be clean, we're supposed to be sustainable, we're supposed to be healthy, and if we believe we can make a contribution to the effort to eliminate pollution in the marine and global environment, Bermuda must begin to make this step. But I am committed to working with our partners, the private sector partners and others, to do this in a responsible way.
Minister Oban, thanks. Great to hear about the award. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Cheers. We'll talk to you when you talk to you. Thanks very much.
Take care. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan. Minister, that is the end of the press conference. We don't have any further questions from the media. Do you have any closing remarks you would like to share?
Just that I'm honored to have been here to accept this award on behalf of the people of Bermuda and our government and Saturn Power for the best small-scale utility project. And certainly I remain honored to and humbled to have accepted personally the MVP award at the same conference for myself. So I wish to, I believe this represents the excellence of our island, not just myself. So thank you very much for the opportunity to do the press conference and announce these wonderful events.
Yes, thank you very much, Minister. And to Bermuda, thank you for joining us here today. And everyone, enjoy your afternoon.